Oh, come on, man. You can do better than that. Smack your goddamn daddy.
Hey, y'all. Welcome to another episode of There's a Lesson Here Somewhere, where we dive into TV shows and films that are published on Tubi. We'll explore the good, the bad, and find all the lessons in between. I'm your host, Manji, and for today's episode, we're going to be diving into the film Turn Me On. Now, if you missed a previous episode, please be sure to check it out. It's called Good Time, and it's A24 film, and it was pretty decent. Go ahead and check out the recap. And if you haven't seen the film Turn Me On yet, feel free to give this podcast a pause. Go check it out on Tubi and then join us for the conversation or do it whichever way you want to. It's your life. So let's get into Turn Me On. So this film is only about an hour and 40 minutes long, and it starts with this guy. He wants to enter this new community. And so he's watching like a commercial for the community so he can know exactly what he's getting into. And this community is called Our Friends. So they refer to the people who is supervising the community, their friends. And so their friends have them take this vitamin that basically removes any feeling of any emotion. It'll also remove any bad memories or anything that will trigger you for any reason. And so you will be left feeling content forever. And once the guy who was trying to enter this community finished watching it, like he took all his shit, he did whatever, he was ready to join it. He was ready to stop feeling. It looks like maybe he was probably getting over a heartbreak because one of the things that he put in the box that is required is like I guess things that he care about, and one of those things was a photo of him and a woman, which was probably an ex. So he's probably heartbroken and he came to this place so he don't have to deal with healing from a heartbreak and just act like nothing ever happened. So they put their things in like this container in which they burn it, so they literally get rid of all those things forever. And then he start taking the pill and he joined the community. So that's how this movie begins. And the next scene, we get an idea of what every day actually looks like here in our friends' community. And so we're introduced to the couple, Joy and William. We'll do Joy and Will for short. And so their day is very bland. Like this is I don't even know how this is even content. So, they wake up anytime they see another human being, they ask them, "Are you content?"
Are you content?
Quite content. And you?
Quite content.
And the usual response is, "Quite content. Are you content?" So that's how they start their day. She wake up, William is asking her, "Are you content?" As soon as she opened her eyes, and she, ask him the question, and then they go in the living room and they do yoga, and then they have breakfast, which every day they have this pouch that says plain smoothie, because this pill takes away your desire to even enjoy food. Like you don't care to enjoy anything. So you just eat it because you're supposed to, not really caring if it tastes good or not. And then at that moment is when they usually take their pill. But while they're watching TV, Will and Joy, they get a notification from their friends, and it tells Joy that it's time for her wellness checkup. While Joy is with the doctor, she learns that she has cancer or a tumor. There's something big going on with her, and in order to cure it, she's gonna have to go a day without taking her vitamin. Immediately, she was like low key against it, and she said that she has to take the vitamin because it's the better you. You never know you need it, which is basically the slogan for this vitamin from the friends. So the doctor reassured her and was like, "You only need to go a day without it. It'll be fine, and then after that, you'll resume taking your vitamins." So of course, Joy follows suits because she actually has to if she wants to survive. Like the doctor literally said, like you're expected to die within a month. So she wants to get cured. And the doctor also told her not to tell anyone because everyone will probably, think she's a little bit strange for not taking the vitamin because they are so hell bent on taking this vitamin every day. It's like they've been brainwashed. They probably have been. So on the second day, as instructed, she did not take the vitamin and she went on about her day as usual. So she goes to work, but this time you can kind of just tell in her facial expressions that she's starting to feel things. It's not just content. And so once she made it back from work that night, she ends up just telling Will like that she's sick and that she was instructed to not take her pill for the day. And Will was like, "Whoa, but we're supposed to. Our friends tell us it's going to make her better." Like, but she was like, "Yeah, but she had to do what she had to do in order to beat this cancer. And so Will is like, well, are you content? And she's like, I feel a bit blah. And us who feel things, we know exactly what blah feels like. It's just blah. That's like the best way to describe it. Will is becoming a little bit concerned. So he's like, make sure you take your pill tomorrow. And she's like, all right. Will and Joy, they're on their way to go, I guess, hang out with other couples. And on their way, they see their neighbor who's solo. She doesn't have a partner. And, they ask, are you content? And she's like, leave me the fuck alone. She's obviously not on whatever vitamin everyone else is taking. And it appears that she's sick because she's like coughing up a lung. So now Will and Joy, they're out with the other couples. So Joy and Will, they went to go join the other couples in which they met the replacement couple whose name was Frank and Michelle. And, they're getting acquainted. So they're asking each other questions about like what they do. And I think it was like Frank or Michelle. They asked Joy if she enjoys her job. And immediately, like quick, she was just like, no. And then they was looking at her like, like that's odd. And then she has to correct herself and be like, yeah, I mean, yeah, I do, after seeing how they were looking at her. And the other couple, it's like a interracial couple, Chris and Samantha, they got a baby. So with this community, of course, these people aren't procreating. They're not even having sex. They don't have a desire to. At this point, they don't even know what it is because their mind has been so erased, so they don't remember much of their life before coming here, and they just don't remember even experiencing feelings. All the feelings that we experience, joy, anger, they have no recollection of experiencing any of those things. So Samantha and Chris, they got a baby. So this community have like adoption program, so when they feel a couple is ready to take care of a child who from birth is not experiencing emotions, that's a little bit alarming. So when they feel like they're ready, they ask them if they want a child, and they literally just drop a baby off at their apartment. So Samantha and Chris, they got a baby, and that baby is just there because they give the baby vitamins as well. And the way they are interacting with the baby is just really interesting. Like,
Odd noises and facial leaks are common prior to administering the first dose of the infant vitamin.
this film was really insightful because it's like this is life with no emotion. It's just shit. It's just is what it is, and that's it. Like it was just like, huh, baby. But if it was like regular, like goo goo gaga, like trying to entertain the baby, but it's just like, huh. So now on the third day, instead of just waking up at the time she typically wakes up, Joy has a little bit of a rough time starting her morning. But when she finally wakes up after fucking Will done asked her if she's content a few times, she starts her day, and she is looking in the mirror and just kind of you can tell that she's having fun experiencing all these emotions. Like she's playing with her face, like making herself laugh, and just exploring this new reality of feelings. And so after experiencing these little 2 days of emotions, she decides that she's not going to take her pill on this third day. And Will, on the other hand, you can tell he's becoming a little bit concerned, because she's not content, and this is unusual for him, and he just want everything to be content. So he definitely wants her to take her vitamin, but of course she doesn't, and she's just trying to figure this all these new things out without any guidance. At the end of this third day, when Will made it back from home, Joy wasn't there. And once he got in the house, he got an alert from their friends, and it was like, do you need help locating your partner? So it's safe to assume that there are people watching their every move and guiding them throughout the way, which is a little weird, but I guess they have no feels for it because they're content. So I guess he says yes, and it leads them to Joy, who is sitting outside, probably looking at the moon now. She has all these new interests and desires. At this point, Will is like so concerned. He's like, yo, I'm about to reach out to Wellness Connect. And she's like, no, no, please. Um, and she's just like, she's enjoying having feelings and she don't care what her friends think. And she's like, I want you to experience what I'm experiencing right now. So you should just let go a day without taking your vitamins. And he's like, hell no. And she's like, it's just one day. And he's just like, isn't it best to be normal? And that's kind of like a play on society, low key. Like, you have the people who are truly themselves. They tend to stand out because everyone has to cosplay what is right for society, regardless of who they are as a person. So that statement was interesting because I feel like a lot of people do care to just be normal than to deal with what comes with standing out and being your true self. So that was very interesting. But women, we just have this little power within us, and Will ends up going a day without taking his vitamins. So the next day is his first day off his meds, basically. And his first feel was just like fucking hunger. He was like laying on the couch and he's like just feeling shit, and he's like freaking out because he don't know what to do. And he's like, I think I'm hungry. And so Joy gives him one of them plain smoothies, and it literally says plain smoothie, and it's like a yellow color. And he drinks it, and she asks, how is it? And at first he said it's good because, in order to be normal, you have to just say what they need to hear. But then he's like, it's actually pretty blah, which that means that smoothie is nasty as shit. But after finishing one smoothie, he wasn't full, so she ended up getting him another one. So this is all new to them because at first they were satisfied with just one smoothie because this vitamin warps everything, controls basically how they feel, and just make them not want for anything. So in the next scene, they are in the bathroom. So Joy, I think she was like brushing her teeth or something, and then Will goes in, and he's now on his vitamins, so he's experiencing the things that men experience usually in the morning. I'm assuming, I know men, and that was an erection. So he walked in with his penis erect. We don't see it; it's all like from the waist up, but it's insinuated. Joy's like, "What? What's going on there? Like, are you okay? What's happening?" And he's like, I don't know. And then so she was like, what happens if you touch it? So he's like touching it and stuff. And, he's like, huh. Like they're trying to figure out and understand what they are feeling while he's touching himself. It's not like crazy, like raunchy or anything. So it's that curiosity and just that lack of knowledge. So this was really cute to watch and just see people who aren't used to these things explore it for the first time. And then Joy, she's like, can I touch it? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. And so she like touches it, and then she's like, do you feel it? And he's like, yo, no, that feels pretty good. Yeah, yeah. He's like, you should keep touching it. And so like while she's touching it, trying to figure out what it is, she's like, but I'm not feeling anything. Like, what is this? Like, what's going on? He was like, well, maybe if I touch you. So he just like started touching random parts of her body, like her arms and stuff, trying to see like what is a sensor point for her. Eventually, Will found Joy's private parts, and it was just interesting seeing them figure out and understand like attraction and sexual arousal in this moment. But needless to say, humans, we gonna figure it out, right? They figured out how to have sex, and like afterwards, he was just kind of like stuck with this new experience, and he's like, "Is this what dying feels like?" And Joy, she's just like for the people, I guess, and she's like, others have to feel what we're feeling right now. So they made it their mission to get their friends on board so they can experience what they're experiencing. So they go to their friends, in which we learn that they don't even have to keep the baby in their house because Samantha and Chris, they left the baby at the baby center. They was like they can pick the baby up when they want. They're like, yeah, we leave the baby there for weeks at a time. It's like what? But yeah, that's the way this is set up. So they go there, and the friends, the two other couples, they have like these VR things, and they're playing like a game, which is like a simulation of the life they're already living. So it can't be that fun, but they're content. So they are trying to explain to them, Will and Joy, they're trying to explain to the four people what they experienced and what they just did, but they just can't understand. So Joy was like, how about we show you? So they do it right in front of them, in hopes they can, I guess, see or get an idea of what they are feeling. The one Joy and Will who are intimate, but they weren't really that interested. They was just like, huh. And then they just went back to playing their VR sets and stuff. And since, this is all new to them, of course they label it, and instead of calling it sex, what we call it, Joy and Will, they labeled this sinking. So they was like, I want to sync with you. The friends also weren't interested in not taking their vitamins in order to experience that as well. So yeah, they were totally against it. And once Will and Joy started to leave their apartment to head back home, I guess one of the supervisors, one of their friends' supervisors, pulled up and was like, why haven't y'all been at work? It's been 3 days. And they came up with like a little lie about how they've been busy. But now eyes are on them. People are watching and noticing that they're a bit abnormal and not as content as everyone else. Joy ends up going back to that neighbor's door, because she was like, she's probably not taking her meds either. And the neighbor did not want to be bothered with her. She ended up calling her stupid for having people coming around snooping and it would be in her best interest to not let them find out that she's awake because you don't know what they're capable of. The next day, Joy did go to work, but she's like have interest in a whole bunch of other things besides work. Like she's hearing noise upstairs and trying to figure out like what's going on up there. And of course, there are eyes on her. So she gets like an alert on her phone and was like, do you think a vacation will help you be more focused at work? I'm assuming she said yes because the next scene they are on vacation and it's not just Will and Joy, it's like all the couples. So it's the three couples and they go, it's like a beach house, a cabin on the beach or something. Yeah, they go there for a trip. And the next morning, all the other couples, they were looking for their vitamins, but we didn't see Joy and Will get rid of these, but it's safe to assume they are responsible for those vitamins being missing. So now they're kind of freaking out because they're like, our friends tell us we have to take these vitamins. Like, what do we do? What do we do? And they're like, it's just one day. It'll be fine. Once we head back, the bus is going to come get us tomorrow and then we can get our vitamins. It's just one day. That's how she got Will. So now everyone in this house is feeling, and we see them explore this new experience for the first time, which was beautiful to see. Like we see some of them kind of just enjoying the wind and being outside, enjoying the water, just little things that we probably take for granted because we see and feel it every day. But of course, they want them to experience sinking as well. So Joy and Will got them together. They got the interracial couples, like the Asian and the black girl, which is Chris and Samantha, together to try to get them to sync, but it just wasn't working out. Like Samantha was just uncomfortable. It was actually a little bit painful for her. So Joy pulled her to the side and was like, let me teach you another way. There's another way you can experience it without a person. So she basically teach her how to self pleasure, and that worked out fine. Now, when they were on their way back to like the community, we see Will and Joy actually kiss for the first time. So it looks like they are falling in love or are in love, and that natural desire to kiss kind of just happened and they just acted on it. So that was really cute to see. So after the vacation, Joy, Will, and the other couples, they all decided to continue to not take their medication, and they meet up ever so often to kind of update each other on their feelings, and it was very just real. Like one of, I think it was Frank, he was like he had to wait in line and he said he wanted to burn down the building, and just all these new emotions. And I thought it was cool that they helped each other navigate it by meeting up and sharing how they feel. So they are now get to think thoughts for themselves. So the vitamin isn't preventing them from thinking and critically thinking, basically. So now they realize that Frank and Michelle, they were a replacement couple. So now they're thinking like, we can be replaced, like we can be removed from here. And now they're kind of like, freaking out. And then Joy mentioned something about a welcome center. Now, Frank, he was the guy from the beginning of the film. So he was the one we see enter this new community. So he's like super new. And he's like, hey, I actually remember that. Like, that was the place that I was at before I came here. Chris, the Asian dude, he works in that area. So he has like the clearance. So he takes Joy there after hours to see if they can figure out exactly what the welcome center is. So they watch like the welcome videos and things, and then Joy leaves and then she ends up getting locked in a hallway and then alarms start going off. Chris, his clearance stopped working. He couldn't even open the door. So she got stuck. So now Joy is in the office with, I'm thinking, the head honcho of our friends. And Joy is asking questions about the welcome video and the vitamins and stuff. And head honcho let Joy know that what they're doing is going to impact and improve the world eventually. So like what they're doing isn't anything negative. She also informs that Joy has been very disruptive to the community, and if she continues to not take her vitamins and be disruptive, then she's going to be very displeased with her consequences. So after that sit down, Joy informs the rest of her friends, and people are starting to freak out, but they all decided to continue to not take the vitamins and just to basically act normal and do what they're supposed to do so they won't alert any of the officials. After that, Joy went to go visit the neighbor because she wants to know what it means to be removed, because the head honcho mentioned something about being removed. And so she learned a lot about this neighbor and just her experience here, which was the neighbor and her partner at the time did exactly what Joy and Will are doing, and they stopped taking the vitamins and started questioning things. And she said that the higher ups took her partner, so she never seen him again, and she's kind of just been there alone with like nothing to live for essentially, and now she's sick on top of everything. And Joy, she's kind of getting ahead of herself because now she's like, oh, so you know what's going on the outside world, because they've only know what's been going on in this community, and this is just one little community in the entire country. So the lady, the neighbor, she was just like, you have to figure out what you want more, and that's knowing the truth or being content. So Joy goes back home and she tells Will that she's been talking to the neighbor, and Will did not like that at all. And honestly, he suggests that she should stop speaking to her because it's going to make it hot for them, and they don't need that right now. And this conversation did get a little bit heated, and while Will and Joy are speaking to each other, Chris and Samantha, they come in the room, and Chris is like, hey,
I would like to try syncing with William, if that's okay.
And I'd like to sync with you, if you'd like.
you can see in Will's face he was not comfortable with it, but Joy was like, I don't see a problem with it. So she gets up and her and Chris go to the bathroom and they start sinking. It was just like no thought or conversation was had. They were just like, yeah, yeah. Obviously, Will is uncomfortable with it, and he's in the room with Samantha, and he's like on the side of the couch, like, looking like he's been violated, just looking all sad, like a little puppy. Samantha's just sitting there, and she's like, "Do you want to play a game?" Like, trying to figure out what to do while they wait for Chris and Joy to finish sinking. So now we're back with the group again because they update each other on what's going on and their feelings so they can understand each other. Will took this opportunity to let Joy know exactly how he felt about her syncing with Chris, and the fact is he did not like it. He didn't really understand why, but he knows he just didn't like it. And he said that it hurt him very much. And now at this point, again, this is all new for them. So Michelle's like, where did it hurt you? He's like, I guess in my head. And then he was like, it felt like my chest was collapsing. So everybody was like, damn. Chris didn't give a fuck about none of that. He was like, well, I like syncing with Joy more than anyone here. I like her a lot. And then I guess this is like the opportunity for everyone to get their feels about how they feel about their partners off their chest. So now Samantha was like, that's actually cool because I feel most connected with Michelle. And then Michelle lights up and she's like, I feel that way too. So Michelle and Samantha are lesbians and they prefer to be with each other. But Michelle's partner, Frank, wasn't going for it. He's like, who's going to be my fucking partner? And he started freaking out. So he's experiencing all this new anger and stuff because his partner literally just told him, I'm sorry, Frank, but I don't want to be your partner anymore. I want to be partnered with Samantha. And he just didn't know how to deal with it or this new rage that he's feeling. And he started going off. And he's like, how's the fuck is that going to work out? Like, but y'all going to move in together? You don't think that's going to alert the higher ups? And then he low key started to try to attack them. So the other two guys, of course, they stopped him. And then in the process of stopping him from harming them, he ended up hitting his head on the ground. So they like carried him back to his room. And Joy is like comforting Michelle and let her know that, she can stay the night in her apartment. And this moment was really cute because Michelle learned how to make music with her mouth. And she wanted to share that with Joy. So she's like, I want to show you something that I learned. And she hummed. She hummed like a little melody. Joy loved it because it was beautiful. Like this is low key them hearing a form of music for the first time. So now Will and Joy, they're back in their room, and Will is obviously conflicted. He don't know what the fuck is going on. He's obviously in love with her and don't understand why he feels so terrible by her syncing with Chris. And so he's like, what are you gonna do? You about to go be with Chris? Like, what we doing here for real, for real? And she's like, reassured him, like, I love you. I choose you. I want to be with you. I won't sync with Chris ever again, especially if it makes you feel that way. I won't even touch him. That made him feel a little bit better. The next morning, Joy leaves the apartment and she sees that her neighbor is no longer living there. She's been replaced with a whole new couple. And then while she was walking around, she ran into Michelle and Frank, who have been taking the vitamin again, or at least it appears that way. So now they're not even the Frank and Michelle that they were yesterday. So she was very disappointed by that. And then we see Samantha and Chris with their baby, and the baby has been crying because once Samantha and Chris stopped taking the vitamins, they stopped giving their baby the vitamins. So now the baby is feeling shit, and when babies feel shit, they cry. So they haven't slept in days. And at this point, Samantha was like, fuck it. And they started giving the vitamin to the baby. And then Chris ends up leaving and finding Joy. And he's like, I want to be with you. And he's like, start kissing on her neck and stuff. And at this point, Will have been like wandering around because he knew something was up. He thought he heard Chris' voice or something. So he started wandering around looking for Joy. And once he found her, he's seen Chris kissing on her neck. So he, of course, is devastated and he runs back to his apartment. Joy runs after him. And once he comes out the room, he's like, are you content? Joy is truly devastated because now this isn't the Will that she knows. And so she's just crying and hugging him and just sad. So now Joy is with the head honcho again and she wants answers. She's trying to figure out what's going on with her friends and also her neighbor. So she learns that Frank moved to like an area where there's like solo people, so he won't be repaired, while Michelle will be repaired with another man. Joy was like, I think she prefers a woman. And Head Honcho was like, I think we prefer to keep it simple. Like, now. So basically, everybody got repaired, even William, her former partner now. And so she was asking about like her neighbor. She was like, what'd you do with my neighbor? The head honcho told her that they found her neighbor like passed out on the elevator and that she was very sick. So we see Joy in the hospital looking at the neighbor. And I mean, I don't believe anything Head Honcho was saying, but it makes sense in this moment. She also learned that her neighbor's partner actually didn't just leave. The friends of the community didn't force him to do anything. He actually decided to become a friend. He became a friend and never was able to see her again, in which that's the offer they're giving Joy now. They even said that this was actually a test. Again, I don't believe any of this. They said that they were interested in her and being a friend for a while, so they put her up to this test and let her go a day without taking the vitamin to see how she handles it. So they said she passed all these tests and they basically offer this new friendship position to her, which entails of her moving into another home in a different area. And it's just full of knowledge. So they said the first year will just be dedicated to learning. She learned about the world basically because this is essentially a child, like, like a newborn, don't know anything of the world, don't know what's going on with the feelings that they're having or even what to do with it. So she's watching movies, she's watching documentaries, listening to music, and she's just discovering the world for the first time. The only catch is she cannot come into contact with any of her former friends, Will, or any of the other people. And if she does, then that will be immediate termination. So even after discovering the world and exploring all these new things, Joy can't stop thinking about Will. And she goes back to her former house to just see him one last time. And when she go, you see her replacement there drinking that plain ass smoothie. And she's just like, are you content? Like those pills literally turn them into robots. But she busts in the room where Will is just sitting on the bed and she just starts pouring her heart out.
You're the only thing in this place that I really care about. Well, then, you and this person are growing inside of me.
And she starts by saying, like, I know you don't remember me or know me at all, but we were once in love. She informs him that she's actually pregnant. And when she learned about through those documentaries and the things and books and stuff in the house. So she's like, I'm pregnant. There's a whole world out here that I'm going to go see, that we're going to go see. And I wish that you can come with us. And then Will was like, I don't understand anything you just said, but I'm just so happy you're here. Turns out Will never took the vitamins again. He just acted like it because he thought that Joy wanted to be with Chris. So he wanted to make this whole process a lot easier for her. Now that's love. And I think that is a very important thing to note. And that's the fact that Will, a man who, society have created to not like experiencing feelings. So they tend to do crazy shit when they do feel certain types of feelings. He went from being content constantly or consistently content to feeling all these wide range of emotions and even heartbreak, which if you felt heartbreak before, that shit is not fun. Sometimes it makes you want to even leave the earth. Like that's how bad a heartbreak can feel. And it probably was that deep for him, based on how he was acting and just the look on his face and the fact that he decided to continue to go the route of feeling emotions rather than going back to content, I think says a lot. So of course they escape together. So Will and Joy, they leave. They end up back at the house that they were at when they were on vacation. And there was like a forbidden area. It was cut off with like a red tape or something. They ended up going past that and just sitting there enjoying the ocean and nature. And that's where this film ends. Now, me, I'm an emotional motherfucker. And I love experiencing emotions. Not all the time, but that's a part of the human experience. It's what makes us human. And that brings me to the lesson. It's okay to feel. I know, like, you have to do everything with a grain of salt. Like, I'm not saying just feel and let it ruin you. It's okay to allow yourself to feel in the moment. At least that's what I do. And I feel like it's been doing me very well. I don't hold on to much. So, like, if I'm feeling angry, I allow myself to feel angry. I was listening to the Friend Zone podcast back in a day, like a decade ago, low key. Shout out to the Friend Zone. And Hey Friend Hey said something that stuck with me, and it was something that I was just very adamant about working on. And she was like, someone asked her because she's so good about like just navigating her feelings, and someone asked her like, how is she so good at it? And she was just like, I kind of just sit with my feelings. So I like took that and I ran with it. So I'm at the point where like if I feel an unpleasant feeling, at the end of feeling it, usually I'm going to laugh because to me it is funny. Like we are here having this human experience, and the fact that I was so upset that I reacted that way, it's funny to me. The fact that I was so sad I cried and did this and ripped this up, that's funny at the end of the day. Like once I allow myself to feel it, I can accept it by the end of it and then move on. And I can laugh at myself and be like, that was funny. Okay, next human experience. Yeah, that will be this lesson of the film, that it is okay to film. But when it comes to feeling, you don't have to let it overwhelm you and take over. It's okay to allow yourself to feel whatever it is, even joy. Like, people kind of feel some type of way if you're happy all the time. Like, if you fucking happy all the time, be happy all the time. That is okay. But if another emotion comes around, it's okay to sit with that emotion and let it be that for a while and then let it go about your way. Like, kind of like she said, sitting with your emotions. So you can kind of see it as like going out for a coffee date with it. Like, you feeling angry right now. So you and angry on a coffee date, y'all chilling, talking it up, talking your shit, getting all that anger out, finishing your coffee, then y'all parting ways and going on. Now you about to go link with happy and excited for life. Like, so that is the lesson of this. I truly enjoy this. I love anything when it comes to just exploring emotions, and I think this film did a good job at doing it from start to finish. Like if we were humans that were born at the age of 25, this would be us navigating all this new world and this new way of living and experiencing life. So I thought this was a really dope film. If you made it this far, that means you fuck with me. So you should go ahead and subscribe, like this episode, share it with a friend. For next week, our next podcast episode, it's gonna be a series, and we're gonna have to break it up into 2 episodes. So I did not know that Irv Gotti created a whole series called Tales. So that's what we're going to be diving into. We're going to dive into the first half, which I think is going to be like the first 4 episodes for the next one. And then the following podcast episode will cover the last 4 episodes. And I'm really excited to dive into the series because it is really good. But I thank you for joining me on this episode. And I see y'all next week.